in church together, we need to make effort to better understand one another. And that's why I've given everybody this chart. So let's look more at this chart. If you look at the second page, it says core values. What do people value in these different groups? What is it that people really value? Well, traditionalists, the first group. Guess what you do? Look at the first thing on here. It says that the traditionalists, who's going to be the oldest people here, they adhere to rules. They follow the rules, okay? And they really are dedicated, they're really disciplined, and they don't question authority. They don't question authority. If somebody said do it, they're going to go ahead and do it and be obedient. They work hard, they're loyal, they're patient, and they're responsible. Okay? Now, when we get to, let's go back to the millennials. Let's just kind of see. You all back there. While this group up here is following the rules and discipline and all that, guess what you all think about? Extreme fun. And you like personal attention. You really are the most educated generation. So then that means that those who are the oldest among us, they're concerned with being disciplined and following the rules and all those things. But you've read some books and gotten some degrees that make you kind of think things through. Where with them, they think, but because they go along, it says they conform. And they don't question authority. But see, you're the first generation in your family to go to college. So that means you are going to question some things. Because, the professor said this, the teacher said this, my mom said this, my church said this, grandma said this, but what do I think? Now, you might be persecuted for asking all those questions. Why are you asking all those questions? Because I said so. They're saying that because they were never, ever given an opportunity to ask questions. They just do what they're told. They trust in the government. That's what it says. They trust in the government. Now let's look at the baby boomers and Generation X. Baby boomers believe, and so that's this group right here, number 2. You all believe in equal rights. That's what you fought for. That's what you stood up for. You have optimism. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. You are optimistic about the future. You're fighting for it. Now, according to this, you also question things. Why can't I have equal rights? So see, in that way, you're not very different than these younger ones, right? You question too. You just question in a different way. So I wonder if we saw that we all question, if we would be a little easier on one another. Because we're all thinking people. In my book, I write about that. My book is entitled, That Child Preparing for Challenging Moments with Youth. And one of the chapters is called The Questions Moment. Preparing yourself for the questions moment. And that is the moment that you discover that a young person is not afraid to question everything. And then I write about the fact that there needs to be at times the death of because I said so. Why? Because they are extremely techno-savvy. And they have street smarts. Look at that generation. So that means that if they don't get the answer from you, they're very resourceful. They're going to go find it. And it may not be the answer that you would like for them to have. Now, there will be times, and I say this in the book, where your experience overrides their need to know the answer to everything. Sometimes things just are. Then other times, they can find out from Google or from their peers rather than you. So hey, you all, you question too. It's just maybe a different question. So see how, if we understand one another a little better, how it might be different. So Generation X, You are highly educated as well. You all are highly educated. Back there, group number 3, Generation X. You are skeptics. You are like, I don't know about that. You come to church and the preacher preaches and you're like, let me think about that. You're entrepreneurial. You want to start your own business, your own company. You may not understand why the traditionalists, instead of just conforming to all the world and those businesses and stuff and working the same job, why didn't they try to start their own thing? Those type of thoughts are okay, but when they divide us, it becomes a problem. That generation, this first group, is not necessarily thinking like you because of the time that they grew up in. It does not make them wrong, traditionalists wrong. We can't say, oh, they're just old and just don't know. They're just old. They don't know anything. They just do whatever anybody tells them to do. You have to consider their generation. Okay? They're dedicated. They sacrifice. They help others build, even if it's not their own. But you, Generation X, you're saying, I don't know if I want to do it like great-grandmama did it. I think I can start my own company. Then that doesn't make you wrong. Grandmama many times will even encourage you and say, baby, you can do anything you want to do.